These three things I'm going to talk about explain the psychological reasons for why we're so obsessed with watching the Olympics. Can you guess what each of these three are? Hadouken! Why can't I stop watching the Olympic swimming when I usually have no interest whatsoever in swimming?
Stop it, please, I beg you!
And where did the Olympics always suddenly come from? This is what I found myself wondering last week. So, as usual, I had to scratch the psychological itch to find out more. Number one, we're bombarded with advertisers spent a whopping $1.2 billion at the 2016 Rio Olympics. If we do some quick math on that, that's around $75 million per day, which, depending on how you calculate it, is around a quarter of what Jeff Bezos makes per day. I don't know if that helps with my point or not, but what does this mean psychologically? Well, it's important to take into account the fact that nowadays, we don't just get advertising through traditional medium, we also get it through social media, digital media, as well as traditional platforms. The huge amount of money involved in turning a commercial profit during the Olympics means that our attention is essentially sold to advertisers during a fleeting 2-week period. And ultimately, the constant saturation of advertising during this period means that we're constantly positively reinforced to keep watching. We become temporary, media-addicted Olympic consumers. We're basically like Pavlovian dogs being given serotonin treats so that we keep watching the Olympics. Number two, we relate strongly to right before filming this, I googled Olympics to find how many exaggerated and over-the-top personal narrative stories there would be. All on the front page of Google, all there for us to see. And you know what? It works, because we relate strongly to what appear to be personal narratives. Have you ever heard an Olympics commentator reinforcing every 30 seconds how tragic of a backstory or how much someone has sacrificed to make it to the Olympics? This is done intentionally because we're emotionally invested when we feel that there is a more personal story to relate to. Not only that, but character arcs often move beyond a single season, so the likes of Michael Phelps or Katie Ledecky or Ian Thorpe, for example, in the past, have their narrative arcs structured by the media so that over the course of 2, 3 or 4 Olympics, we remember them, we follow them, we're emotionally connected to them, and it means that there's more watch time from us as viewers. Number 3, we're automatically part of, and the Olympics create a sense of belonging, both to something global and bigger than oneself, and to something national and more nearby. There's a few different psychological theories that can effectively explain how this would influence us, but one of them that I really like is self-evaluation maintenance theory. This has 3 key parts to it, which impact how we self-evaluate. 1, performance. 2, closeness. 3, relevance. When someone who is close to us in identity, such as national identity, performs well on something, our self-evaluation can often increase, which leads to us feeling psychologically better about ourselves. Importantly, however, this can only happen if the thing that they do well in is irrelevant to our self-concept. Let's take this for an example. You consider yourself an up-and-coming soccer player and you're 18 years old. You see your 17-year-old sibling perform well in, say, gymnastics. This theory says you'll probably feel good about yourself and feel good for them through a process of reflection. However, if in that same example you saw your 17-year-old sibling get the A-team soccer start and you only got the B-team start, you'd probably feel worse about yourself according to this theory. This is because of the process of comparison. So, back to the Olympics. Most of us share a media-crafted national identity with the Olympians. We've been given personal narratives to emotionally connect with, but most of the sports have limited relevance to our own personal aspirations. I can't swim at all. Titmus can, she's Australian, some emotional tragic backstory about her past, XYZ, and I'm hooked, and I'm emotionally attached to her story. I'll follow it for the Olympics, and I'll probably follow it for the next 2 to 3 Olympic Games, even though I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. Well, my investigation found these 3 key psychological reasons for why we're so obsessed with the Olympics. Please comment below, subscribe, let me know what you'd want me to look at next. Now back to the long jump.